Alright guys, welcome back. I got today Jonathan, he's a coworker of mine, and so for Crypto Tuesday, I'm going to be doing pretty much a series or a video interview with Jonathan because I've been getting some questions about Axie Infinity.
Axie Infinity.
And so I don't know anything about the game, I've never played it, but I've heard Jonathan has actually played it, he's set up an account, he's invested in it, and he's making some money so far, so he's gonna go ahead and explain his story, how to get started. And so this video really is just gonna be asking all sorts of questions like what do you need to get started and what are some good tips to prevent you from losing any sort of money, especially when you're starting out. So Jonathan, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure, man.
So Jonathan, let's go ahead and start first by explaining how you found out about Axie Infinity.
Well, I guess my first exposure to it was, I'm also, I think you're a user of crypto.com. I'm also a user of crypto.com, and so my first exposure to it was actually seeing their tokens on the top of the percentage boards for a couple days. And at first I saw it and I was like, what is this thing? It's called a small love potion, like what's that? Or an Axie Infinity, like what's that? I'm like, okay, there's some other tokens. And you see, that you just get awareness from that sort of thing. So that'd be my first exposure. Now my first real exposure that really caused me to consider it as an investment was actually via YouTube. So essentially, I watch YouTube videos on crypto. I try to keep up with crypto news, and this thing was blowing up, and they started talking like this is going to be a huge thing. It's an NFT game, and this thing can like make you tons of money over the course of a month. So I was like, all right, another big crypto investment that's going to make millions of dollars. Let's take a look. I guess I'll do my research. So that's how I kind of got started on it.
Now, briefly explain like what is Axie Infinity. I know that you kind of mentioned it's an NFT game, and I know for those of you who are already investing into crypto, you might already know what an NFT is. But just briefly explain like what is NFT and what's the purpose of like Axie Infinity.
NFTs are non-fungible tokens. So the idea of them is they're basically like a digital asset, and they have a unique ID, and you have like ownership of them. So think of a lot of games, they'll have digital assets that you can buy, but they're like part of the game thing, and they can just literally do a patch and just take it away from you. Whereas this is an NFT token. It's not it's like once you own it, you own it. Axie Infinity, the way to think of it is it's crypto Pokemon. So okay. That's the way I like to think of it. But it's a game, and the idea is it's supposed to be both a game and an economy. Now they call it they're naming it like there's a new genre of crypto games, and it's called play to earn, which the idea is you play the game, you're doing whatever the game does, and then you're getting being rewarded in some sort of cryptocurrency. Got it.
Okay, so the love potion token is more, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you can use it more as a token within the game, like kind of like it's its own currency within the game?
Yeah, basically its only use is for in-game stuff.
Okay, got it. But then it does have some sort of real life value as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a crypto that people can buy and sell on various exchanges, so it still has a
It's like if you
value.
had GTA money, but now this GTA money actually is worth something.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's actually pretty cool. So what are you required to start an Axie Infinity?
Well, in order to get started, it's simple and yet complicated. To get started, the simple way to put it is you need 3 Axies. Then those are the creatures, and you need 3 of them to play the game.
Okay.
But acquiring them is a little more complicated.
Why?
Because to acquire them, you need to buy them from their marketplace. So Axie Infinity has their own marketplace that the developer set up, makes it easy to exchange these tokens, or these NFTs. And in order to get it, you need to get money into that. And that is through the Ethereum network, and it's a little bit of if you're very new to crypto, it's kind of a confusing process.
So they're like NFTs, so those are NFTs that you're buying.
Yes.
And so it's like going into this app store that you have to deposit some money in order to buy these creatures within that Axie Infinity app store or creature store?
Yeah, you need to, Axie Infinity has their own, what's called a sidechain on the Ethereum network. So you need to get money into the sidechain then when I say money, I mean Ethereum. You need to transfer Ethereum onto that, and then you'd buy it through Ethereum.
Okay, so then every transaction occurs through Ethereum, pretty much.
Yeah.
So then you have to transfer over Ethereum to your Axie Infinity account, and then that's how you start buying all these other things.
Yes. So the basic process, they have what's called a bridge to bridge from the Ethereum network to the sidechain. So you need to transfer money to a Ethereum wallet. And the case, they actually have a guide for this on their website. You go on to Axie Infinity, and then there's like a drop-down menu, and it says like getting started, and they walk you through this. But they have what's called you create the MetaMask wallet. That's the Ethereum wallet they recommend, and then you use the Ronin wallet, which is their sidechain, and then they have a bridge that basically bridges between these two. So the overall process, to put it as simply as possible, is you get Ethereum onto the MetaMask wallet. And then you set up the MetaMask wallet, you set up the Ronin wallet, you transfer Ethereum to the MetaMask wallet, and then you bridge it into your Ronin wallet. That's this. I know if that sounds complicated, it's because it is a little bit complicated for someone who's very new to cryptocurrency. But that's as simple as I can put it.
Okay. So I guess, yeah. And so for all of you, I personally use Trust Wallet, but Meta Wallet is just, I guess.
MetaMask, yeah.
Oh,
it's another decentralized wallet.
It's like just very similar to. So if you watch some of my videos on Trust Wallet, MetaMask Wallet is just similar. Like it's the same. It's just different company. So Jonathan, you were talking about that there's two ways that you can make money in this application or this game. One is through collecting small love potion tokens, or breeding Axie. So tell me the difference between these two methods, like how much time does it involve each one of them, and how much money could you expect, assuming you came in with those $2,000?
Yeah, so small love potions are the currency you're generating in the game, and then you can just simply, they're a cryptocurrency, so you can simply sell them. And so that's this very simple method, and it basically, the way it works is that you're collecting them, and then they allow you to actually claim them once every 2 weeks. So you're going to make your profit every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So maybe you make 2,000 small love potions in 2 weeks, and then you just sell them for 20 cents a piece or whatever they're at.
Okay.
Then the second method, and more risk-reward method, is through breeding. And the way breeding works is that you take your Axies and you breed them together, and then they generate new Axies. And in order to do this, so you're generating new NFTs, and then you can sell those NFTs on the market. Now the way this works is it consumes resources, and so it consumes the AXS token, and it consumes the small love potions.
Oh wow.
And so with this method, what happens is when you breed one, you make an egg, and then the egg hatches in 5 days. And so you can sell the eggs, but they're usually less profitable. So usually you want to wait 5 days, and there's a risk that in the 5 days they'll go down in value. There's also the possibility they'll go up in value.
And now, how long does it take for you to breed or to create an egg? Like, can you just start popping eggs?
Once you have the right resources, you can do it immediately.
So if I have like 1,000 Axie Infinity tokens and small love potions, like if I have enough resources, then I can put 5 eggs in once?
You can, so every Axie can breed up to 7 times, and you generally, with most of them, you don't want to breed more than maximum 3 times.
Why?
The more you breed, the cost of small love potions goes up. So the first time you breed at zero breed, they cost 300 love potions. At the second breed costs 600, and then the third breed, I want to say, costs 900.
Now, is that transferred once you sell your actual Axie? So let's say
that's just the consumed resources to create it. So once you create the egg, then that's it. Like, it's made.
But you said each Axie Infinity or each Axie creature cannot breed maybe more than 3 or 4, like 7 times, but you should not recommend. Wouldn't recommend 3 or 4 times.
Right.
So let's say you breed it 3 to 4 times, but then sell it in the NFT market. You buy it. Now, can that person breed 7 more times, or is it capped globally to?
No. So yeah, it's globally capped. So you'll sell it, and it'll have a breed count of 4.
Oh, okay. So it does hurt the value of your Axie if it's been breeded.
If you sell 0 breed, an Axie that's never been bred, you can sell it for more money than you can sell a 4 breed Axie.
Okay.
that has the exact
Wow.
same traits.
A lot of variables here, guys. That I mean, it's like a full-blown economy, like how he was saying. It's like
They've really thought out the economy, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, yes, so it's important that if you're going to be having an Axie, you can breed it up to 7 times. Jonathan here is saying he wouldn't recommend it because, you know, just, I guess, the egg value.
Well, you do the cost to breed, and as you're spending more, so you spend the same amount of AXS tokens, but you're spending more and more small love potions. So eventually the cost of those love potions is just too high to justify the breed.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of a good way, I mean, to explain it. But yeah, I guess I used to play this app called Clash of Clans, and so every time you would upgrade this building, it would cost more and more and more until eventually you know, if it takes you 1 day to upgrade it, now the next time it's going to take you 1 week, and then 10 weeks, and then 1 year, and so it becomes harder and harder. So this is what I'm thinking.
So let's say a good way to illustrate it is you're consuming resources, so you add the value of those resources together. So let's say the Axie you can sell is worth $300 in
Okay,
Ethereum.
so well, actually, because we have a
There you
whiteboard
go.
here, so let's say you have an Axie.
You can breed it and then sell it for $300.
Okay, so $300. Now, when you buy these Axies, you could buy. You said there were unbreeded. How much do these go for in the marketplace right now?
Unbreeded depends on how strong they are, but I would say they're probably about 320, 330. Well, I personally actually got the 3 Axies I use on my team, and then I bought 2 other Axies to start what's called a breeding farm.
Okay. And then once you hatch those eggs, you can breed your own Axies between each other?
Yeah, so once you start breeding, so you have 5 Axies, which is what I had. And then you can breed them and make 2 new Axies. And then you have 2 new Axies, but these 2 can't breed with each other. They're siblings, so they can't breed with each other. So then what you can do is you can take a 3rd one and breed this one with this one, and then make 2 new Axies here. And then you can take this one and breed it with one of these and make 2 new Axies here. And then you take this one with one of them and you make 2 new Axies here. This is called a breeding farm.
Got it.
And eventually you can just continually breed, and then once you breed them together, you just sell the parents.
So you're locking in some gains or some profits at least.
Yeah, and then you're continually always having the Axies
How many times have you done this already?
twice so far.
And you said it takes around 5 days for the eggs to hatch.
Yes.
Unbreeded Axies go from 320, and then what about breeded Axies?
So with
Like
2 breed,
parents?
if you keep doing 2 breed, which is what I'm doing, they go for about 280.
Okay, so it's like
Right now.
40.
And this changes. This is a dynamic market that changes.
Yeah, so by the time I upload the video, it might be way different.
This is the risk.
Now with the small love
The other
potion,
thing,
Jonathan,
just to briefly, I didn't explain the cost of breeding. If you want to go through that. So the other part of this is the cost of breeding. So I said it was worth, once you breed them twice, they're worth 280. Now, they cost AXS tokens, and they cost small love potions. The first time with 0 breed, they cost 2 of these and 300 of these. The second time they cost 2 of these, 600. The third time they cost 2 of these and 900. So cost-wise, just to illustrate, make this easy, you're selling it for 280. The first time this cost is around, right now, it's around 200. This next time you're looking around.
And again, it depends on the value of the token. I know AXS has been going up dramatically from $17. I think it's now, last time I checked, was like 69.
Yeah, and the AXS actually used to be 4 cost, but because it's gone up in value so much, the game developers have changed the cost to breed. More on that in a minute. So the first time, let's say it costs $200. The second time, let's say it costs $230. The third time it costs $260. And then, as you can see, the next time it would start costing more than you're actually making in profit.
Got it. That would make no sense.
Yes.
Now, why would someone want to buy a 3-breeded Axie?
To play the game.
To play the game. So these Axies, you could either sell the parents or you could put them and play the game?
Yeah, I mean, you need 3 of them to play the game. So you can take a 3-cost Axie, and then someone will want it because they want to play the game to make small love potions. They want to do just small love potions. They have no need to breed, so they can buy a higher breeded Axie for less cost.
Now, what
Just
if you put all those parents in just creating small love potions? You couldn't just put them to work instead of selling them?
You can only, you're playing the game and you have an account and it can generate 3.
So you can only, okay.
And multi-accounting is like playing 4 different accounts with just yourself is actually the bannable offense by the game developers. They can ban you for that.
Well, assuming they can find out. Not endorsing that, but I mean, there's
been a lot of bans that have happened. I wouldn't.
And then you lose
if
your
you're willing
money.
to take the risk, you can.
And then I'm assuming you lose your money, right? Or
well,
like,
you don't have access to those. I don't think you can sell the Axies. I don't think you have access to them for like 6 months to a year. So
by that time, it'll be.
That would be a waste of an investment.
You'll be either millionaire because it went super good, or you'll be poor, or you lost all your investment. Okay, that's actually great. That kind of helps illustrate kind of the cost and kind of. So now you just said you just need to transfer Ethereum to this application. Like, how do you download the software? What is it like? Do you need a supercomputer? Can it be on your phone?
It's actually a Google extension.
So as long as you have Google Chrome, you can play it. And then
and the game's graphics are very simplistic. So
you don't need a fancy GPU.
No.
A mining rig, anything like that.
Nothing like that.
Okay. Now, Jonathan, very quick, what's the risk of playing, obviously, other than losing the money?
Yeah, the biggest risk is that you're breeding more Axies, and they kind of drive the value of all their tokens. So the risk is that people stop wanting to buy more of them. So the player base grows, for whatever reason, people just don't want to buy them, and then it kind of tanks the whole economy. So right now I said they're worth $280. What if in a month they go down to $100 each, and you put in $280 for them?
So now
That's the risk.
Oh wow, that seems like a very risky business.
Yeah, I mean, it's anything with crypto is risky, and you gotta be willing to take your level of risk tolerance. So there is a chance that, like with any crypto, that they can go down in value. Now, think of NFTs as like another asset. Assets can also go up and down in value.
So now, for those who are watching this video and who are thinking of starting an Axie Infinity, if you were to start from scratch today, what would you do, or what would you recommend someone to do who's just starting today from scratch?
Well, I would recommend that you do your research. If you want to get started at the lowest cost, then buy the very basic floor Axies. And then it would be 280 times 3. So you're looking at an investment of like
$900 roughly.
$900.
So you have to put in 900. Then what would you say, should they focus on small love potion right now? Should they focus on breeding?
Depends on your risk tolerance. So I'm clearly an advocate of breeding because there's that profit margin there. But there is risk involved. And then the other way, you can either start with floor Axies, which are like not as strong in combat, but they're the cheapest ones, or you can build ones that have like the right skills. They're stronger for fighting in arena, fighting PvP.
Now, this is a question I personally have, but what's the risk of another game developer coming and then just doing exactly the same that Axie Infinity is doing, but just better?
Oh, it's a great question. I think a lot of game developers, this is not the only crypto game out there. This is not the only NFT project out there. And there's a reason this game has risen above the rest. So part of any game isn't enjoyable to play. And the thing with this game is, without getting into too much detail about how the combat system works, is it has an engaging system. Like there's strategy to it. It's kind of like, think of like poker where you're kind of trying to guess what the other person's going to do and what they have and play your hand. It's got some of those aspects to it.
Okay. And I'm assuming combat in the game is similar to, I mean, how would you describe it? Just like playing against other, is it teams versus teams or player versus player?
Think of Pokemon where you're choosing skills and then they're choosing skills and then you fight. And then also think of like, if you've ever played any card games like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone or something like that, which you're playing cards, you're generating energy, you're spending that energy to play cards. So it's a card game, but it's like both sides play their cards and then they do their skills at each other.
And then can you lose your Axies in combat?
No.
So
they'll die. You'll lose the battle, but you won't lose your Axies.
And then you'll just lose your resources, perhaps.
Yeah, if you're doing arena, it takes 1 energy. Like I said, every day you get 20 energy, and then if you lose that energy, and you don't get any resource. Whereas if you win,
can you buy more energy?
You can get more than 20 energy a day by owning 10 or more Axies.
But we're talking about probably
that's a big investment. Make that investment if you have a certain risk tolerance. Go ahead.
Yeah,
that's a high level of risk tolerance.
So now, Jonathan,
yes.
The value of AXS or Axie token, has been going up in value. You said in order to breed, you need 2 Axies. So how have the developers been combating that significant increase? Because it was $17 when it started, or I was seeing the graph, and recently it was up to like $76.
Yeah, so this is another aspect of risk that you have to be willing to tolerate with this game, which is the developers they have certain centralized control on the assets, and you have to recognize that, which is they control how much small love potions you generate in the game, and then they control like the breeding costs. And so this last week, the developers made 2 changes, and as someone who owns Axie assets, this was a roller coaster experience for someone like me. Like, very nerve-wracking. Like, I'm glad it worked out, but this is a good lesson for everyone looking to get into this investment, which is the first update they did. There's a lot of small love potions being generated, and they were generating more than they were using to breed. So in order to combat this, the game developers decided, we're going to reduce the amount of small love potions you can get every day. They basically have the amount you can get from the adventure mode, and they have the amount you can get from what's called the daily quest. So overnight, just all of a sudden, you could not generate nearly as many small love potions as you could before.
So they were restricting the supply of love potion, causing it to increase in value, I'm assuming, no?
It did cause it to increase in value, yes. And it also caused everyone who's just using the strategy of, I'm just going to generate small love potions, to freak out. Because all of a sudden they couldn't generate nearly as many, and they're like, this is going to be really bad. The other thing it did was, because the small love potions went up in value, also the AXS tokens, like you said, they went up from, at the time they were about $40, and they basically overnight went up to $70. And so all of a sudden the breeding costs were out of whack. They didn't make any sense.
So there was probably a whole bunch of people suspending the breeding because it just made no sense to breed at that time.
Yes, and I was in the middle of a breeding I'm doing a breeding farm, so I was like, what do I do? I have these, I can't breed them anymore, like, what do I do with these? So a lot of people panicked, and they just sold them at that time.
Wow. So if you have a team of developers regulating the game consistently or constantly, then it creates that instability of, is your strategy going to be relevant after that change?
Yeah, keep in mind this game is also in alpha, so they have a lot of different plans for it. They've been sending updates. They're going to update the battle system to, they call it version 2. So that's in development, and there's going to be other in-game items you can generate and buy and sell. And then they're also talking about having a world with, and they call it Axie Land, and there's the land of Lunasia. And you can own like land plots, and there's going to be different benefits for that as well. So these updates, like when they go out, what are they going to do to the in-game economy? What are they going to do to your investment? Will it go up in will your assets go up in value? Will your assets suddenly overnight go down in value? There's risk involved, so just be aware.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all for today, John. I think, again, hopefully this video illustrated. I know there's a lot of stuff of Axie Infinity. Definitely, I'll leave, I guess, the link to the actual browser, Chrome browser extension that Jonathan was talking about. I'll also leave the guide that Jonathan was talking early on the video of how to start with Axie Infinity. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I think I'll be definitely passing them down to Jonathan. And then, I've just been getting some people asking about Axie Infinity, especially because we do a crypto section in the YouTube channel, and so I thought, I have never played this game. I personally don't know how I feel about, putting $900 or $1,000 or $2,000 into a game. But, it's like what you're saying, people are making money, and it's interesting to see that, you've thankfully made some money so far. You're in the green so far. Hopefully it stays that way, but that's why I thought it would be a good idea to do this video to kind of explain what the game is, for me to understand it better, and then hopefully for anyone out there who has similar questions to what I had, you know, hopefully those questions are answered and kind of gives you a better understanding of how people are making money in this, you know, game.
Yeah, and keep in mind, like, the other aspect of this is something like new to the world. Like, NFT games are not something that has been around before, so you're going to be part of something like new. So if you want to be a part of that adventure, like, maybe even if you lose money, maybe it'll be worth it. If you lose like a couple hundred,
at least you're gonna be saying,
you're gonna be like, I was there.
That's a great point. That's a great way to put it.
But
So.
just keep in mind, I listed all these risks, but I spent $1950 and I'm up to $3,400 in assets. So
and
there's
another
big
thing, yeah,
potential.
I think also another thing to keep in mind is you don't have to, I guess, say anything, but Jonathan here is not too concerned about this investment, because I'm assuming that if he were to lose it all, he's aware that that's a possibility. So never invest, you know, rent money, never invest kids' diaper money, food money.
This has to be money you're willing to risk,
Exactly.
because you cannot guarantee it'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, if not, you know, it really adds an extra emotion to it that might cause you to do things you don't want to do.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, Jonathan, any other closing thoughts?
I'd love to see more people in the Axie community. I think it's a great opportunity.
Any social media account or anything that we could leave in the description account, or anything that you want us to share?
Well, I am currently not big in the social media scene. I will be looking to potentially make a YouTube channel in the next month or two.
Okay.
There's a couple things I want to get involved in. I'm getting into motorcycling, and I'm also into crypto investments, and I kind of want to make a vlog where I share sort of an adventurous experience while also talking about trying to help people with personal finance decisions, investment decisions. I know there's a lot of people that are very hesitant to get started because there's a lot of like uncertainty. There's a ton of decisions out there, like how many cryptos are there, how many stocks are there. People are hesitant to get started. Right. And I would love to help people be confident in their decisions. And so look forward maybe in the next 1 to 2 months, I'll be on this channel again, and I'll give you guys that information.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, and if you guys are watching this further down the road, hopefully I'll update it with this information. If we have some sort of YouTube channel or something, be sure to follow and subscribe to Jonathan. And again, thank you so much, John, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Don't forget also, guys, if you enjoy this video, if you enjoy this type of content, please hit that like button and subscribe. This is actually the first interview I've done in this channel, so definitely we're probably gonna have Jonathan back here again, because Jonathan, if I'm like crypto like level number 1, Jonathan's probably way more above than me, because he's really putting a lot of thought and research into this, and so I think he has some good advice that he could definitely share with us more in the future. So thank you, Jonathan, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.